Welcome back, everybody. I've got a fun one for you today. We are going to do some surface noise with the Greeble textures, and we're going to combine it with live Boolean function inside Zbrush 4R8. By the end of this, we're going to create something like this here. These are basically, it's just two primitives, one being a torus and or ring 3D, whatever you want to call it, and then this one is just a partial ring 3D, and we use surface noise and do a Boolean cut to get solid geometry. So I'm gonna take you inside ZBrush here in a second. First, you need to go to my Gumroad page and download something. So let's go over to Gumroad. And here is my Gumroad page here. I've actually got a few examples here. If you want to download them, take a look at them. They're decimated versions of it. And then you also, if you want to grab the Zbrush 4R8 UI that I'm using in the video, feel free to grab that. But the one you really need to grab is this Greeble 4K sample pack, because that's the one we're going to use today. So let's hop into ZBrush and let's get started. So first of all, I want to just take you through the basics of this process. So we're going to do something very simple. We're going to go ahead and we'll click polymesh, or yeah, just a regular poly here with the poly star here. T for edit. Turn the floor off. There we go. And we will initialize him, and we're going to make just a Q cube. So I'm going to lower the res all the way down to 1 and Q cube. Alright, go to your deformations and just click unify, and that will reset the scale to this object. And now you can see we've got just a super simple cube with 6 sides. So under real quick, let's go to geometry, and we're going to go ahead and crease. I think we just do crease polygroup. That'll work. Perfect. And right now our cube does not have any UVs, so we're going to make a real simple UV. Since we got nice flat panels and single polys, you could just do a UV tile. There you go. Now it has UVs, so it will slap your UV texture right here. You'll have one version here, one version here, one version here. So that's how UV tile works. It basically maps the whole texture to each polygon on there. So now we can actually divide up our mesh a little bit, because it'll retain that geometry. So go to your geometry, turn off smooth. We're going to divide, and we'll just get him up to maybe, yeah, 1500 is fine. So subdivision 5. We'll go ahead and just delete lower. Now we can see all our geometry in there now, because we need a little more geometry to support the surface noise that we're going to project off of it. So now that we've got him set up, I may change the crease level, because we still got creases on there. I'm going to change the crease level to probably about 2. This way we'll start getting some rounded edges, and if you hit D, that will activate your dynamic. If you're just opening ZBrush, it'll probably throw a warning up there saying, do you want to do this all the time? And just hit yes. And currently the dynamic subdivision is only set to smooth level 2. We're going to pop him up to 4. And as you can see, we got rounded off corners there, and that's going to help our displacement a little bit. It won't look so sharp and jaggy on the edges there, and it'll work a lot better for us. So let's turn polyframe off, and let's go under surface, and we'll open up noise, and we'll get a little better angle there, frame him up, and click UV, and go ahead and flip H, and go ahead and open up an alpha. And we're going to go to that 4K sample pack real quick. And let's see, I think Trying to remember, yeah. Go to number 5 in there and look for the depth. Open that up. We're going to take mix basic noise off, and then strength up. And as you can see, we now are getting our pattern on there. So I'll probably set it to 0.3 for now. And go ahead and do a color blend so we get a little colorization there. There we go. And -1 is what we want. And now we are all done inside surface noise there. You can actually, if you wanted, you can adjust the scale if you wanted to. You can lower it down, raise it up, but we're just going to keep it at 1 because that looks good. So go ahead and click OK. Do a quick BPR just to see how far the displacement will push out. Alright, looks good. Did not hold on to the poly paint, so go to your subtool and click that little brush. Now he's good, and we'll just move him slightly again and do another BPR. And so now we should have all the color information, all the details baked in there. Well, it's not baked in just yet. This is just a preview mode right now. So let's go ahead and we'll start setting up for our Boolean cut. So go ahead real quick. We're going to go ahead and duplicate this one. And what I want to do is we're going to do a simple version first, and then I'll show you a hard version. So go to your surface, go ahead and edit, and lower that strength all the way down to 0. And all I want to keep is just the poly paint information. So this way it'll still colorize the inside of the mesh. So what you want to do is go to geometry. We're going to go ahead and apply our dynamic subdivision. Now it's up to about 393,000 points. And we'll probably go ahead and divide one more time, alright, to 1.5 million. And go ahead and do a convert. Let me hit solo real quick so we're just seeing the one we're working with here. Go ahead, convert BPR to Geo. Give it a second, process it. Okay, now it's baked on the poly paint data, and that's what we want. So go ahead and we'll click off solo. We'll go up to our other one here. We'll hit solo real quick just so we can see it better. And we want to do the same thing. We want to apply and convert BPR to Geo. And this is the one with the displacement. Alright, so it's baked in that information. So go back to your subtool. We'll click on the lower one. We're going to switch it to a negative. Turn solo off. And click on live Boolean. Okay, so it's already started to do an initial cut. So that's what we want. But we're not stuck with that. Let's go ahead and go to deformation and go to your inflate. Just click on it and put in like -0.5 and then enter. Okay, as you can see, some of the pieces started to come back, and what we're doing is we're inflating the object to bring some of that information back. So if you just keep on hitting repeat to active, you can start seeing what your cut's going to look like. As you can see, it's starting to bring pieces back the further the object's inflating. So we could just keep on going until we get to a point where we really like it. So I'm just going to click on this till I see something that I kind of like. Slowly but surely. So if it's going too slow for you, you could go back to your inflate again and do -1 instead. It's a little larger of a inflate now. Repeat to active, repeat to active. I like doing it this way because it has a little more fine-tuned control. Alright, so I think I am pretty happy with that result right there. That looks really good. Everything's cut out. And so all you have to do now is do make Boolean mesh. There's no dynamic subdivision, so we don't have to worry about that. So go ahead and make Boolean mesh and we'll let it process. Alright, it's done processing, and if you go up to your tool palette now, you have a new mesh now, and click on that, and there you go. It has been pretty well cut, and it's nice and clean, got poly paint on the inside, so let's invert that. There we go. So we can take a look at the inside, and go to display, and we'll go ahead and double that. There we go. So now we can see the inside, nice and smooth on the inside there. Very cool. It's got a nice shell to it there. Some parts are super thick, some parts are super thin, but it's got two sides to everything, which is pretty cool. So let us go back to our other mesh. Let's go back to the original one. And I'm going to show you a slightly different method here that we can actually add a bump surface to the inside of the mesh. So let's see here. Let's go to subtool. We're on the inner mesh there. We can see it has some issues there on scaling down whenever we inflated there. So we're going to have to jump back quite a bit here. Let me just see if I could drag it over, find the right one. Alright, so now we got just to our basic mesh there with surface noise and dynamic. Now let's go back to surface. Let's edit. Let's change the strength. Instead of going in a positive direction, let's go in a negative direction. So we're just going to do negative 0.1, and that's going to push the mesh in. Click OK. I'm going to turn live Boolean off there for a sec. Do a quick BPR just to see how far it pushes that mesh in. It's not too bad. I may crank it up just a hair, go negative 0.2. Just depends on how much thickness you really want to your mesh. Okay, so now we're going to have to, this one is a little more complicated, so I'm going to turn solo and live Boolean back on. And I'm going to do an inflate before we add everything to it here. So I'm just going to use my UI down here, negative 0.1, repeat. About negative 1 instead. There we go. It's going to be a little crazy there, so zoom in here, see how we're looking. And repeat, repeat, repeat. Okay. So we're going to try that. So what we want to do, I'm going to turn solo on here. Let's go ahead, apply the dynamic subdivision and convert BPR to Geo. And turn solo off. Okay, we can see that it didn't go that far, so Control Z, Z, and let's do a negative 2 inflate and repeat. Now apply and convert. It's kind of a lot of going back and forth with this particular way. So Control Z, Z, and let's go ahead negative 5. repeat, apply, convert. That's why this one's a little more complicated there. So let's go ahead, Control Z, Z, and -10. Alright, and apply, convert. A lot of back and forth doing it this way. It's usually the way I don't like to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and do make Boolean mesh here. I don't want to keep on boring you until I get this right. You guys can do that. So go ahead and make Boolean, and I will be back when it is ready. Alright, I am back. As you can see, the Boolean operation has succeeded, but there's several warnings reported during the process. So let's see what happened. Let's see if anything is in error. This should be it here. Yeah, this is it. But I don't see anything that's totally horribly wrong with it, so I'm not sure what happened. You will get that from time to time. So I believe it was probably, if we look at the original, hit solo, it's these crazy corners right here. And that's what did that. So you just got to be careful when you're making these that you're not getting super complex. I mean, this is pretty complex, but still. So let's go back to that fully realized one there. Now let's take a look at the inside. I'm going to turn double on so we can see it a little better. And there you go. Now we got all this inner detail along with outer detail. Now how cool is that to make some super fast, complex geometry in no time? That is a pretty cool deal. So let me show you how I made that ship, or whatever you want to call it. It kind of looked like a ship at the beginning of the video. So let's go ahead and we'll do polymesh again. Let's see, where am I looking at you? Turn the floor on, make sure I'm looking at the, yep, okay, the blue is Z forward. There we go, we're good. Alright, so we're going to go move. We're going to click on the gear, and we are going to pick Ring 3D. And now we got these options to change it on the fly. So let's see here, coverage 360. Give a little more resolution there. Radius. We can increase the radius just a little bit if we wanted. Let's set the divide, height divide. Make it a little rounder. And congratulations, we have a donut. Alright, so moving on here, Gizmo 3D. I just want to rotate it so it's flat to the ground plane, okay. And frame. If you hold Alt and click that little arrow there, that will reset the orientation as long as you have the Alt on. If not, it will actually, if you don't have Alt turned on, it'll actually reset the mesh orientation. So just a nice little handy trick there. So let's get out of there, go back to draw, and turn off the floor. Let's do noise, do our same setup like we did earlier. UV. Nice thing about Ring 3Ds, they already have UVs built in, so we don't have to mess with that. And let's go ahead and do our depth again. We're still set up on it. And we already did flip H, mixed basic noise, strength up to we'll go 0.3. That might be excessive there. We will see. And color all the way over. Okay. And hit D for dynamic. Increase the division there. I may change the alpha scale to 0.5. Alright. Let's do turn off live Boolean, do a BPR, just to see how far that distance is going there. It's not bad. Let me turn on the color. We'll go ahead and BPR again. See how that looks. Looking pretty good. Let's see. Let's do some mirror and weld on this guy. We'll go modify. Let's do a mirror and weld on the X and see how that looks. Where am I pointed at? Okay, so that's Z forward. We'll do Control Z. Let's do open up deformation as well. We'll do mirror X first, and then do a mirror and weld X. Now we get a little different look there. I don't like that right there. I kind of want some of this pattern right here. Control Z. So anything on this side will be mirrored to that side, so you can actually, if you do a rotation here, I think that might work. Let's do mirror and weld, see how that looks. Let's bring him back just 5 degrees there. Mirror and weld. Now this is only going to work on, doing that rotation trick is only going to work on ring 3D or sphere 3D. Not going to be able to do that with anything else. And let's see, what else? Maybe, what do you think? Let's do a mirror and weld on the Y, maybe? Let's see. Let's do a BPR and see how that looks. Ugh. See. Need to rotate him 1 more degree. Trying to get rid of that little lip back there. Now let's do, don't want that yet. Mirror and weld on the X. There we go. And we're not going to worry about the Y. I think surface, need to edit. Let's change him to 0.2 instead. He's a little excessive. And BPR. This is the best way to do it. Get it all set up at a low poly phase and then start working on your Boolean cuts and all that other stuff. Alright, looks good. I think we're going to be okay there. I'm going to reset the orientation, Alt and click it. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so let's go to our subtool. We're going to duplicate. And with this one, I'm actually going to go ahead and just delete the surface noise and switch our color. We'll go to kind of a 75% gray. If you go to color and fill object, there you go. And subtool, let's hop up to the top one. Let's go ahead and apply and convert BPR to Geo. Alright, and now go down to our bottom one and we'll change it to a negative and do live Boolean and turn solo off so this works. Alright, so now we just do our same trick. So we'll do -1 inflate. I'm going to zoom in here so we can see some of the details up front. And repeat to active till we get the desired result. I kind of like that. Some of it's punched out. Some of it on the sides punched out. Perfect. Alright. So now it's just a matter of doing make Boolean. Be back when it's done. Okay, we made it, but I made a mistake. Be sure to turn on dynamic subdivision because that one on the bottom there has dynamic subdivision turned on. And now make the dynamics. And now go ahead and make your Boolean mesh, and I'll be right back. All right, it has produced it. Let's see if this is it. I think this is. There it is. And there it is, all nice and cut out for you. And guys, this would probably do really well in an SLA printer. I haven't tried it because I'm not rich enough to own one. So if anyone does have one and uses this technique to make this, definitely show me your print. I would love to see that. Okay, so let's add just a little more detail to that original mesh here. So let's go back up to our top one here. I'm going to solo him. And I want to add just a little more detail there. So we're going to use a surface noise. Click on noise. And we'll go into edit. And we're actually going to just turn the strength down to 0. Because even with surface noise already applied to it, it actually retained the UV map. So we can actually turn off the alpha and go find, let's go to, I think, number 2. Yeah, we'll do number 2 and click on the diffuse. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some additional panel lines to our panels. But I'm actually going to lower the blend so it's not so crazy there. And then we'll just adjust our scale accordingly. So just until you find something you like. So let's do that and click OK. Now if you do convert BPR to Geo again, it's just going to apply. It's not going to raise the resolution or anything. It's just going to add all the polypaint data to it. So now we got these nice detailed panels with additional panel lines. It's kind of cool little trick there. So now all you have to do is turn dynamic on, turn solo off, because if you have solo on, it won't Boolean anything. It'll just send out the same one again. So go ahead and make Boolean, and I'll be right back when it's done. All right, all done. And let's actually go look at there it is. There it is, all baked in. Nice cuts on the inside there. A very nice, quick, easy, complex model. Super fast. So I did tell you that we're going to make that ship. And unfortunately, I didn't model this guy correctly. And let me show you real quick how I would model that initial ship. Switch color, thank you. So let's go real quick. Let's go to move, turn on ring 3D. It should still have the same settings. It's good. Gizmo and rotate 90. Turn him off. And the only thing I did differently on mine was I did go to Z modeler, so it's actually BZM. What I did was actually right click it. Let's do polygroup, polyloop, and I just found the 2 center ones there, isolated them with the polygroup, and then I did a slide, edge loop complete. I slide that one down and I slide that one up. And then do an inflate, polygroup all, click on the purple one and then just drag him in. Then it's just a matter of adding creases. So crease, let me see, crease, edge loop complete, there, 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 there. Boom. Alright, so let's go back to this guy. Go back to this one here. Ooh. Alright, let me just go back. Polyframe, dupe. And D. Smooth. Boom. Like that. Surface noise. I've actually got some pre-made. There we go. So I don't have to mess with everything here. Mess with all the settings. Geometry. Actually, I need to probably unify that. Yep. There we go. That's better. Frame. Zoom out. Let's see what it looks like with the mirror and weld. Do W here so I can see. Need to reset him. Alright, so. And, well, there we go. Kind of got that stuff up front there. Reset orientation. See what a BPR looks like. Turn off live Boolean. There we go. Not bad. I gotta increase the projection just a little bit because I unified it. Edit. Crank him all the way up. Okay. And do another BPR. See how that looks. It's not too bad. Edit. I can actually change the relative off. 5. This may go out way too far. Yeah, that's extreme. Edit. Turn relative back on. That'll work. Okay. Subtool. Duplicate. Surface. I know, I just did all this for you guys. I'm sorry. We'll just delete. Solo. And switch color. Fill object. Okay. And subtool. This is going to be that. Solo off. Take this top one, apply. Convert BPR to Geo. Alright. Turn on live Boolean. Get down here. With this, you can actually, if you wanted, let me zoom in just a little bit. You can actually, with the gizmo, if you hold down Control, you can do inflate on the scale. But it's not super precise. Entirely up to you. Back them off just a little. So I can have some more openings. There we go. How's that side look? Control. Alright, frame them up. Go back to that top mesh real quick. We'll do a quick noise on top. Actually, open that up. Just double click that. And put that new pattern on there and BPR to geo. Alright, it's already done. And dynamic, make Boolean. Alright, all done. New mesh here, there it is. All nice and cut up for us. Got some weirdness going on over here, but it'll be alright. Okay, so let's see. Let's work on our overall shape here. We're going to just do some deformations here, but first I want to add subtool, insert, that polymesh again, and move. We'll just make a ring 3D, gizmo, actually, let's go back to ring 3D, and I want to change that inner radius. Just got to find it. Solo him. Just thin him out, super small. This is going to be our lights inside when we take it over to Keyshot. Alright, solo back on. There we go. We'll turn transparency on. Gizmo. Hold down your shift so you control the rotation. And we're going to zoom him out, or just scale him out. We're going to put him up top, and then I want to hold down control and then put one down below. And let's turn off transparency, make sure it's not peeking out anywhere. No, it's not bad. Okay, so go back up to the top one here. Look at them from above, do deformation, and let's do a taper on the Z. See which one I need to do. And go ahead and just go all the way over to about, we'll do about 72. And if you do repeat to other, it'll do the same thing to your other subtool. And looks like he's sticking out just a little bit up top there. So let's go down. Unmask him. We'll just do a little height adjustment there. Bottom sticking out just a little bit. Squeeze them in. Just tuck them in so we can't see them. And there we go. We got our basic shape all set up there. So go ahead and do subtool, insert. We'll do the polymesh again. And when you do insert, it automatically selects that one. So go ahead and we'll do ring 3D again. We're going to change that radius there. And we need to find coverage. 360, hold down shift. We just want 180. We'll just keep the same resolution there. Where's that gear? There it is, Gizmo 3D. Let's rotate 90. Okay. Let's make our scale. Push them out. I may work on the, let's just turn on transparency. We're going to do the same deformation. We're going to go ahead and just do it ahead of time. Frame. Deformation. Let's do that taper again on the Z. So we fold those front edges in. And if I actually rotate him around on the, all the way around, and then do that taper again, I can flare it out. Then rotate him back around. See how he looks on the model. Looks like he'll be okay. Got his little fins or whatever, if you want to consider this a ship. I don't know, it's up to you. So let's start with our surface noise, and I'm going to I'm going to just hit D right now. Get dynamic subdivision going, crank them up, maybe 4. And go to surface noise. Actually going to cheat, so I'm going to go to this one here that I already have. It's the same one, this way I don't have to do it over and over and over again. Alright, we'll go ahead and just do a mirror on the X. Nope, not mirror, mirror and weld. Let's turn off live Boolean and do a quick BPR and see how that looks. Alright, so do subtool and turn on. And real quick, I'm going to do a solo and then do a clone. Where is he at? Where did you put him? Right there. This way we don't have to do a bunch of extra processing when we do the Boolean cut. So we got him set up. Duplicate. We're going to make our cutter here. We're going to go ahead and remove the surface noise. If I can find it again, there it is. Go ahead and delete, and we'll pick a new color. Nope, not purple. Okay, fill object. There we go. Let's go up to the top object. We're going to do apply, convert. Sorry, I'm kind of going a little fast here, but you guys seen all this before. So I went down to the lower one where we're going to cut. I'm going to change him to negative, turn on live Boolean. And we could do the quick method here and just do control on that square. And we'll just start inflating or deflating, or however you want to look at it, till we get the desired results. I like that right there. Looks good, looks good. Alright, make sure dynamic is turned on and make Boolean. Alright, all done with that. Let's go find him here. I think this is it. Nope. I got too many going on in here. Yep, that's him. Yeah, I know, I didn't put the pattern on there like I did earlier. Sorry. I'll rename him Wing so I can find him easier. Wing. And let's go back to, where is he at? Is this it? This is it. We'll go ahead and delete that. We don't need it. And insert Wing. And there he is. Ready to go. He's a little thick there. Let's see. Let's go ahead and move. Let's Alt. Yeah, that's fine. Now go to mass center. There we go. And we'll just thin him out just a little bit so he fits in there a little nicer. There we go. Alright, so let's go up one. Let's rename it Lights. Lights. And actually, solo. Ooh. Switch color, fill. Go ahead and do just auto group, which is in your polygroups here. And then I already named it Lights, so group split. Okay. Now we got two separate lights. Go up to the top ship here, turn off polyfill, and rename ship. Okay. And we can go move him up. Oh, I want the wings to go up. Oh, that's what I'm doing wrong. And for ease inside keyshot, so we can keep the same material across the wings and the ship, I'm going to go ahead and just do a merge down. Okay. Alright, now they're both on the same layer. So we got 3 polygroups there. I'll turn off live boolean. We're going to go to render booleans, no, not render boolean, external render, keyshot, and we're going to do a BPR, use the bridge, and take us over to keyshot. Alright, here we are in keyshot, thanks to the bridge. Let's see, let's start setting up our materials here. We'll double click on Zbrush, the models here, unlink all the materials, and then double click on him. That'll bring up the material editor over here. And I have Keyshot 6 Pro, which has the material graph. So we'll click on that and we'll start building our node base here. So we're going to drag everything out here. What we're going to do is we're going to make a couple copies of this. So duplicate, and duplicate. So now we have 4 instances of the same material. So I want to go to textures and bring in curvature. We're going to disconnect the diffuse. We'll click in the curvature. As you can see, it's making this very weird color pattern on there. And it's just a matter of plugging in our textures into each slot there, and everything should go back to normal. And so now what we have the ability to do, let me change some of the settings real quick here on the curvature. So I think I'm going to go with a 5 on the cutoff, and I think my radius I want at like 20. You won't notice any difference there because we're using the exact same texture for all of these. But what you can do is now you can start, go to each one, double click it, go to that texture map, and you can adjust the brightness, and you should start seeing a little bit of an effect. So the negative there, which is the pretty much the edge wear. So we'll go to this one here, maybe drop its brightness, see what it does. Okay. So maybe the positive, we can increase the brightness. Maybe lower that back down just a little bit. I'm going to adjust the contrast a little bit just to get a little variation to our model. So now what we can do down here is what we want to do is adjust this to a metallic paint. Let me find my settings here, or my notes here. I actually made notes, sort of. So I'm going to change this to advanced to metallic paint. And I want to take this texture, which is all by its lonesome down here. I want to drop it here, and I want to put it into metal roughness, and then drag another one and drop it into clear coat roughness. And then on my settings there, I think that will drop him to 0.2. And let's take a look at our model now. Oops, gone too far. Oh, love Pete. There we go. So now it's just a matter of going in and adjusting some settings. You can do a lot more tweaking to it there, that's for sure. But what's really going to set this off now, so let's go back to our scene. Let's figure out which light I'm dealing with. It looks like the top one there. Double click it and change him to area light diffuse. And we'll change him to a kind of a burnt orange, maybe. Okay, let's go to the other light. Let's change him to area light diffuse. Let's make him a red. Obviously this looks a little different than the one that I showed you at the beginning there, because the textures alignment were a little different there on the surface noise there. So it's very quick and easy to be able to make variations just by manipulating the surface noise. So let me grab the other light, turn off visible to camera. Let's do a quick environment, figure out which one I used. I believe, if I can find it. Yeah, let's see, location factory 4K. I think that's the one that I used. There we go. Put some of that highlights in there, and then we've got the clear coat giving you some interesting reaction there. If you do control and click and drag, you can move the scene around, the environment. You can always get rid of the background environment, change it to a color. If you want a nice clean image there, we can do like a light gray or something like that. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. Really super simple to do. It's really not that complicated, as you can tell. Granted, this tutorial came out a little longer than I wanted, and I had to double back a couple times there because I forgot something. If I had a script that I went off of, I'd probably be a little better off, but I like to wing it a little bit. So guys, definitely show me what you're making with this stuff. Get back with me on that if you're having any issues. Definitely give me a like and subscribe. I always appreciate that. And we will see you in the next video. You guys have a great day.